10 Japanese cars faced restrictions, not because they were unsafe, but because they were classified as high-performance vehicles under insurance and provisional driver laws. One became one of the most frequently stolen performance cars in early 2000s UK. These were attainable performance machines that insurance companies and governments decided required experienced drivers. Let's get into it. Number 10, 1990 Nissan Skyline GT-R R32. They didn't call it Godzilla as a compliment. They called it Godzilla as a cautionary tale. The 1990 Nissan Skyline GT-R R32 showed up to Australian touring car racing and made every other vehicle look obsolete. It didn't just win races, it dominated the championship so thoroughly that its success helped accelerate the end of the Group A era. Under the hood sat a 2.6-liter twin-turbocharged RB 26D inline 6, officially rated at 280 horsepower, but typically producing just over 300 in real-world testing. But the power wasn't even the scary part. Nissan equipped it with a Tesa ETS all-wheel drive that could redistribute torque in milliseconds, and Super Hikes 4-wheel steering that made it corner with supernatural precision. 0 to 60 came in around 5 seconds. From 1990 to 1992, the R32 dominated Australian Touring Car Championship racing with Jim Richards and Mark Skaife. The performance gap was humiliating. Ford and Holden protested repeatedly. The Group A category ended after the 1992 season, influenced by rising costs, manufacturer politics, and the GT-R's dominance. It was replaced by a V8-only supercar series that excluded the Skyline's all-wheel drive advantage. Australia added it to their high-performance vehicle restriction list, making it illegal for provisional drivers. Insurance companies flagged it as high risk. Americans waited until 2014 when the 25-year import rule allowed them in. By then, values were climbing toward 6 figures. Number 9, 1994, Nissan Silvia S14. It looked like a budget coupe, but handled like a precision instrument. The 1994 Nissan Silvia S14 came with the SR20 DET, a 2.0-liter turbocharged inline 4, producing around 217 horsepower and 203 pound-feet of torque. Those numbers don't sound intimidating until you realize the car weighed just 2,750 pounds and had chassis geometry designed specifically for controllable oversteer. The SR20 DET was also a tuner's paradise. With proper modifications and tuning, it could handle 300 to 330 horsepower on the stock bottom end. Nissan gave the S14 a viscous limited-slip differential, 4-wheel disc brakes, and suspension that made the car want to rotate on command. 0 to 60 took 6.7 seconds, but straight line speed wasn't the point. The S14 was built to slide. The car became the weapon of choice for street drifting across Japan, Australia, New Zealand, and the UK. Its affordability and modification potential made it popular with young enthusiasts. Japan launched crackdowns on illegal street racing, and the S14 was frequently involved. Australia included it in provisional driver restrictions. UK insurers either refused coverage or charged premiums that made ownership financially difficult for drivers under 25. New Zealand included it in restricted vehicle regulations during the early 2000s import wave. Number 8, 1993, Mazda RX-7FD 3S. It had an engine that spun to 8,000 RPM, sounded like nothing else on earth, and required proper maintenance or it would destroy itself. The 1993 Mazda RX-7FD came with the legendary 13B twin-turbocharged rotary engine, officially rated at 255 horsepower in early models, increasing to 280 in later versions. Real-world numbers confirmed it was making strong power, and with sequential twin turbos that significantly reduced lag, the power delivery was absolutely intoxicating. The rotary engine was a mechanical marvel, compact, lightweight, and high revving, but it required strict maintenance. Poor maintenance could lead to apex seal failure. Insurance companies used the car's performance capabilities to justify high premiums for young drivers. In the UK, insurance premiums for drivers under 30 could be extremely high. Australia and New Zealand included it in provisional driver restrictions. The car's drifting and street racing popularity didn't help. Grey imports that flooded into the UK, Ireland, and Australia during the late 90s were immediately subjected to restrictions. Number 7, 1998, Subaru Impreza 22 BSTI. Subaru built 424 of these to celebrate their anniversary and rally success. The 1998 Subaru Impreza 22B wasn't just another WRX. To celebrate 40 years of Subaru and 3 consecutive World Rally Championship titles, they made it wider, lower, and more aggressive. The fender flares added 3.1 inches of width. The coupe body was unique. The gold BBS wheels became iconic. Under the hood sat a 2.2-liter turbocharged EJ22G engine, making 280 horsepower officially. The package weighed around 2,800 pounds with rally-tuned suspension dialed in by WRC engineers. 0 to 60s came in under 5 seconds. Production totaled 424 units, most sold in Japan, with 16 exported to the UK, 5 to Australia, and 3 prototypes. Australia included it in provisional driver restrictions. New Zealand followed. The US 25-year import rule kept them out until 2023. By then, clean examples typically commanded $180,000 to $300,000, depending on condition. If you are enjoying this countdown, hit that like button and subscribe. The top 5 entries are even more extreme. Number 6, 1999, Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 6. TME stood for Tommi Mäkinen Edition, named after the rally driver who won 4 consecutive World Rally Championships. The 1999 Lancer Evolution 6 TME came with a 2.0-liter turbocharged 4G ZX3 engine, pushing 280 horsepower and 275 pound-feet of torque. Mitsubishi fitted it with Bilstein dampers, revised turbo and suspension tuning, and active yaw control. The TME weighed just 2,910 pounds. 0 to 60 came in the mid 4-second range. With Tommi Mäkinen's input on suspension, it handled like a car costing 3 times as much. Mitsubishi only built 2,500 units for Japan, but the UK imported hundreds during the early 2000s. The TME became high risk for insurers. Premiums for drivers under 25 were very high, with some refusing coverage due to modification potential and theft risk. Australia and New Zealand included it in their high-performance vehicle restrictions. Number 5, 1997 Honda Integra Type R DC2. It became one of the highest theft rate performance cars in early 2000s UK. The 1997 Honda Integra Type R DC2 was Honda's ultimate naturally aspirated front-wheel drive performance car. They stripped out around 220 to 260 pounds and dropped in a hand-built 1.8-liter B18C engine that revved to 8,400 RPM and produced 197 horsepower. The car weighed around 2,500 pounds. With VTEC engagement at 5,800 RPM, the top-end pull was addictive. Add in a helical limited slip differential, close ratio manual, and Nürburgring tuned suspension, and you had one of the best handling front-wheel drive cars ever built. The JDM DC2 was heavily imported to the UK and became a massive tuning scene status symbol. Thieves noticed immediately. The car was easy to break into, parts were valuable, and demand was high. The DC2 consistently appeared in UK theft statistics as one of the most stolen performance cars during the early 2000s. Insurers responded by refusing coverage or charging premiums that made ownership nearly impossible for anyone under 30. Number 4, 1995 Nissan Skyline GT-R V-Spec R33. The R33 GT-R was the overlooked middle child. Not as raw as the R32, not as pretty as the R34. The 1995 Nissan Skyline GT-R V-Spec R33 came with the same RB26D ETT engine, officially rated at 280 horsepower, but typically producing just over 300. Nissan made critical improvements. The chassis was stiffer. The suspension used multi-link setups front and rear. The active LSD system was refined. All R33 GT-Rs came with Brembo brakes from 1995, and the V-Spec package added lightweight wheels and stiffer suspension. 0 to 60 came in 5.0 to 5.2 seconds. The R33 was longer and heavier than the R32, making it slightly less agile, but governments didn't differentiate between Skyline GT-R variants. Australia placed it on the provisional driver restriction list immediately. The UK treated it exactly like the R32, with high insurance premiums for young drivers. New Zealand included it in their restricted vehicle regulations. Number 3, 1994, Toyota Supra RZ. It had 2 turbos, a bulletproof inline-6, and tuning potential that made insurance companies nervous. The 1994 Toyota Supra RZ came equipped with the legendary 2 JZGTE engine, a 3.0-liter twin-turbocharged inline-6 officially rated at 280 horsepower, 276 horsepower under Japan's rating system, and 320 pound-feet of torque. Real dyno tests suggested Toyota may have slightly underrated it, but the engine's true capability went far beyond factory specs. The 2JZ became legendary for its strength. With proper supporting modifications, fuel system upgrades, and tuning, the engine could reliably reach 600 to 700 horsepower or higher. Toyota had created one of the most tuner-friendly engines ever, and the aftermarket went insane with it. The Supra could hit 60 miles per hour in around 5 seconds and top out at an electronically limited 155 miles per hour. The massive tuning potential turned it into an insurance challenge. In the UK, insurance premiums for drivers under 25 could be extremely high. Australia and New Zealand added it to their restriction lists. The Supra was sold in the US until 1998, when low sales led Toyota to pull it. Then, Fast and Furious reignited interest. Top condition examples now exceed $200,000. Number 2, 2002 Honda NSX Type R. Honda built a supercar to challenge Ferrari, then made a lighter, faster version. The original 1991 Honda NSX was already a landmark. An all-aluminum chassis, mid-mounted V6, and handling refined with Ayrton Senna's input made it a Ferrari 348 competitor at a fraction of the maintenance cost. In 2002, Honda introduced the final NSX Type R for Japan. They reduced weight by approximately 140 kilograms, 308 pounds, by removing sound-deadening, audio, air conditioning, and comfort features. They fitted stiffer suspension, a close-ratio 6-speed manual, and Recaro buckets. The 3.2-liter VTEC V6 made 280 horsepower. With less weight and sharper dynamics, the Type R was significantly faster. 0 to 60 came in around 4.7 to 4.9 seconds under typical conditions. Honda only built it for Japan. Gray imports arriving in Australia fell under provisional driver restrictions. UK insurers treated it as high performance with difficult coverage for young drivers. New Zealand included it in restricted vehicle regulations. Number 1, 1999 Nissan Skyline GT-R V-Spec N1. It wasn't just a high-performance Skyline, it was a homologation special built primarily for racing. The 1999 Nissan Skyline R34 V-Spec was built for one purpose: homologation for Group N racing. The N1 was a homologation special with limited production. Most went to racing teams, but some were sold for street registration. The N1 came with an RB26DETT engine designed for racing durability. It featured an upgraded oil pump, strengthened block, steel turbos instead of ceramic, and the removal of air conditioning, ABS, rear wiper, and non-essential components to reduce the weight. Officially, it made 280 horsepower. Modifications focused on reliability rather than power increases. The suspension was stiffer, brakes larger, and interior components removed. This was as close to a race car with plates as Nissan would sell. The N1 was never certified for US sale and requires the 25-year import rule for legal importation. Like other R34 GT-Rs, it was legal to import to the UK and Australia, but fell under provisional driver restrictions in Australia and New Zealand. Insurance for any R34 GT-R was challenging for young drivers, and the N1's extreme specifications made it even more difficult. Today, verified N1 R34s command over $500,000 in the limited transactions that occur. These 10 cars weren't just banned outright for being too fast. They were restricted through provisional driver laws, insurance policies, and import regulations because governments and insurers decided they required experience to handle responsibly. They proved that exceptional performance, when made accessible and affordable, comes with limitations for those without experience behind the wheel. And that's just the beginning. We're diving deeper into the world of restricted, banned, and legendary machines that pushed the limits of what was street legal. So if you want to be the first to know when that drops, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. There's plenty more horsepower, controversy, and automotive history where that came from. We'll see you in the next one.